And Wool Gathering, episode 162. On tonight's show, we are welcoming a very special guest. She's not just a musical act, she's a movement. She goes by the name I Ya Toyah, which means it's just me. She recently released a new single called Panic Room. You got to check it out. It is fantastic. And she'll be releasing a video of that song in a few days. We're going to find out about that, some of her other music, and her passion for philanthropy. If you like what you've seen here tonight, subscribe and leave a comment. Feel free to share this with your friends and smash that like button. Tonight's episode is brought to you by 4411 Creative Agency. The good folks at 4411 provide custom marketing and flawless execution. Creative is their middle name. Head over to 4411creative.com to find out more. And of course, I don't do this alone. I have to bring in my guy, the gruff but lovable Metalhead Mundy.
Step inside into his mind. It's boy band time. It's
Metalhead Mundy.
Hello, hello. Hello.
Played twice. It started to play twice. I don't know what happened.
I like how I've been upgraded apparently from just lovable to gruff and lovable. So I'm not sure if that's a step forward or a step backward, but
you seemed a little uncomfortable about being lovable. So I thought if I threw gruff in there, you'd feel more at home.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Total sense.
Probably more accurate.
Indeed. Well, we do have a special guest tonight, and I want to get to that as soon as we can. So I'm going to hand it off to you, Mr. Mundy, to tell us a little bit more about I Ya Toyah.
So, I don't know, maybe I can't remember exactly what the date was, but it's been a month or two ago. My youngest son and he's 19. He's been wanting to go to a show with me for a long time. We finally found one. I'm like, hey, Stabbing Westward, it's one of my absolute favorite bands. Been listening to them since the 90s. He was like, I'm in. So we went, he kind of listened to them a little bit leading up to the show, and he knew a couple of the songs from seeing them in things. So we go to the show, and, you know, I saw this opener, I Ya Toyah, and I'm like, I have no idea who that is. So I looked her up a little bit before we went, and I'm like, "Ooh, this is pretty good." So, and holy cow, man, she just absolutely blew us away. So, and I won't go into her stage show right now. Like, we'll get her on and talk about that a little bit, but just absolutely blew us away. And so I started following her, and I saw she had a new single coming out that was produced by Walter Flackus from Stabbing Westward. Like, oh my God, she's got new music out. So I'm like, I wonder if she would want to talk to us. So I just reached out, and she said, absolutely. So here we are. So please welcome to the show, Anya Tarnowska, who performs under the name I Ya Toyah.
Hello. Hi.
It's just her.
Yeah.
And my logo.
I love the logo.
It is pretty great.
Who did that for you, or did you do that on your own?
So yeah, sort of, like it was just the letters. And, I've always thought of this musical act as kind of blend of peace and anarchy, because this reflects my personality. So then the logo, was sort of no-brainer. I Ya Toyah, IYT, and then kind of like round, like anarchy and peace sign is. Sort of like you can see it probably, right? Like,
sure.
The inspirations.
Yeah, it definitely fits your aesthetic. That's for sure. And I would say that is a very unique thing about you. I mean, when you see what you're doing, it's very individual. It's very unique and original.
Thank you.
So I don't really know where to start. I mean, I've got several questions, but so when my son and I saw you live, like I said, we really didn't know what to expect, and you come out by yourself, and you have off to the side, you kind of have the laptop and sampler set up and all that stuff, and you've got the microphone stand with the grenade on it, and you got the screen with all the cool visuals, and you're playing guitar and you're looping pedals and all that. And I mean, to do everything that you do 100% by yourself, it's so impressive. So how did you decide that's what you wanted to do, just by yourself and not have anyone up there with you?
Well, first of all, thank you for the compliment. And well, how did I decide? I was in multiple different brands and projects, and I've noticed that each of them was just breaking up. And it was never me. It was always somebody else that just didn't have that type of commitment and engagement. And I figured, well, I mean, I know what I want to do with my life. That's all I want to do with my life. I need to do music. I need to sing. I need to write songs. I need to perform. And so I figured I should just do it on my own. So I started learning production. I went to school, finished, got the degree for music business and for music production. And I started working on my very first, very raw, almost like a demo record, now that I look from perspective, which was called Blue. And then just right after I wrote that demo record, I needed to come up with ideas how to perform all this music, how to play everything, all the layers. And that's where, the 8-month process began. It took me 8 months to do the first version of my live show. And then I kept upgrading. Then pandemic happened. And through the pandemic, I rebuilt a bunch of things and like upgraded stuff. But yeah, that's basically the decision came from just the need of performing and the need of being out there and feeling unstoppable, but not being unstoppable because everybody else would stop me.
So just self-reliance, really.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, that's
that makes
awesome.
sense, because the music is powerful, yet there's a vulnerability in the lyrics, I think, sometimes. So that makes total sense.
Yeah, and it's not like, I love bands. I have other projects still going on. I'm part of the Joy Thieves.
Right.
I have a Polish band, rock band, and I always love collaborating with other people. I love performing with other musicians. There is some special thing happening on stage when when you work with others on stage. But I love performing alone as well. I really do.
That's cool. I had a question. We were talking because he just asked a question about creating the music. So I was listening to It's No Good, okay, your cover, and there is a sound. I mean, it's really cool because it's very different than the original, which is, I think, pretty neat. But there's a sound in there, and I was driving in the morning to work, and it reminded me of, and I don't know if you'll get the reference, but Jeremy, you probably will, an old handsaw that's really long, and you shake it, and it makes this
Yeah.
wah, 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 sound. And I kind of got that in the background. And I was just thinking to myself, do you create any of your own sounds, or is it like, there's a group of samples and then you can just manipulate them? Or do you ever actually input your own sounds that you create?
A lot of that. So I do both things. I like taking sounds from nature. I live in the forest now, but even before I lived in the forest, I would simply walk on the fall leaves, and the crunch of those leaves, I would record it and then make a snare sound of it. So it's like in a lot of my songs, I add this layer of that crunch of the leaves into my snare, but just bunch of different stuff, from the live world that we are in. And I started loving doing so when I was at school, getting my music production degree, and we did Foley work.
Oh, yeah. Very cool.
Sort of like for, and even we did that for NPR radio as well. We had to create sounds for, like a kind of podcast, but create every sound that the person would be telling the story about from scratch.
Yeah.
So it was like, I got so much into it, and it was very creative and a lot of fun. And so I will never stop doing that. Actually, I want to expand on that and do more enter the world of soundtrack in the future, because I love movie and cinema, and
Yeah.
do more of that kind of work. Definitely, it's on my bucket list.
Yeah, Foley work, that's something that I discovered. Like I've always been a movie fan since I was very, very young. And, growing up, you'd see behind the scenes stuff wasn't so prevalent when I was young. Like it was harder to come by,
Yeah.
Now you can find anything, of course, but when I first saw someone doing Foley work, I was like, oh my God, that's how they do it. Like, I'm like, that's amazing. So then you kind of start listening for that stuff when you're watching movies.
Yeah.
And that's great. I love that.
Yeah, same here.
Agreed. Because as a kid, it was so cool to think, how did they make lightsaber sounds? And then like one of those fanzines would come out and explain it. And it was like, oh my gosh, I wish I was that guy.
I literally just watched a video on that yesterday.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's funny.
We got a question
Mm-hmm.
from a Facebook user. I'm posting on the screen. It said, would you consider opening an after-school music program to give kids a place to have something to look forward to and give them an interest and reason to show up and curb teen depression?
Oh my God, it sounds like a dream project, Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. My heart is in this 100%. And so I'd love this. So just sign me up.
Yeah. There's, I know you're from Chicago, in Hyde Park, they have a really cool, it's not an art museum, but it's an art institute of some kind. And we were there one time going through it when they had the kids in, and they have an after school program for kids to come in and do art. And then the entire gallery is their artwork, and they curate what it's going to be about. It is really a neat thing. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah. And, I do vocal coaching. So I've worked with kids a lot, like, vocal coaching them. And I think in the future, I would like to expand this kind of work into what you just mentioned, kind of like a, project to curb the depression, to let kids expand their own talent, hear their own voice, find their own voice. And through this, sort of get rid of the darkness, or not get rid of it, but know it enough to be able to live with it.
I think something like that also is important now, because you just hear more and more of music programs in schools getting cut or cut back to bare bones. And someone may not even know, because they're not able to do it in school. They may not even know they have this love or this talent, or, unless they can go somewhere out of school to explore that. That's wonderful.
Exactly. And, especially now when kids are pushed to do so much, their life is just insane. All the projects, they just endlessly running from one thing to another. And mental health is a concern. And then just exactly trying to find yourself in it and have identity. It's like a gift these days. It's a privilege almost, right? To like be able to know who you fully are. It shouldn't be. It should be given. But yeah.
Well, you touched on mental health there, so I would say put a pin in that. We'll circle back around to that. More on that soon.
Yeah.
But speaking of children, discovering their love for music or talent or whatever, how did you figure out that you were musical, or both, I guess, that is what you wanted to do?
Oh, I think it figured it out before I did figure it out.
Okay.
I can say it. So my parents told me that I reacted to music when I was born. So like when I was like a baby, laying in my little, thing, I would scream and shout and be like super animated until they started playing music. And any kind of music just soothed me down. At the age of 3, I already performed. I don't remember it, but I have some pictures of that with microphone. And then shortly after, my parents signed me up for Music Institute. So then I started my musical education, the theory and vocal performance, guitar performance, piano, and so on. And I guess at that point I already knew that this is what I want to do. And my education was interrupted by a car accident,
Oh,
which basically put me in terrible coma, shredded my guitar, and put my life on hold for many years. So the recovery took a long time, and because I've had normal school, when I was ready to go back, I had to catch up on normal school, and I never returned to my musical institute. But I still already, studied, and so I got all the bass, and I still had that hunger, which was put on hold for the time, but it returned, and then here I am doing it.
well, and we're all the more lucky for that.
Yes, we Facebook user said she is my fave guest so far, hands down. I
Aw.
will not tell Michael Cerevolo. His old soul can't take it.
Speaking of Michael, I'm not gonna lie. I almost. I don't know if you're familiar, but there's a group called Beauty and Chaos.
Yeah.
Okay, so Michael, the ringleader of that, has been on our show a few times. He's awesome. We love him. But I almost sent your videos to him and be like, dude, if you don't work with this woman, you're insane. Because that's what he does. Like, he does music, and then he has guest singers on every song. Like, he doesn't, and I'm like, oh, you gotta hook up with this girl.
This is cool. Well,
So
And the last album was entirely female singers.
yes.
And
Wow.
so, and they get to bring a lot to it with the lyrics and things like that. And they create entire records. And it's really an incredible project. And
Yeah.
we love supporting it. And he is off the charts amazing.
that
Just a
is
good
awesome.
guy.
That is awesome. I have to check this latest record out. And yes, I am on the Julian Beeston's project, which is called The Featured. He features women.
Okay.
I was honored to be a part of that with a couple different songs. And it's been such a pleasure. Fantastic, especially that, being surrounded by all this other talent, all these amazing women that are just mind-blowingly amazing, So I don't know. Something different, because I'm on my own every day doing I Ya Toyah stuff. So then when I get to collaborate, it's just this whole huge, powerful hit of energy that I just cherish so much.
Well, I'm not even kidding. I almost did that. So if we can
Good.
make that connection and something comes out of it, awesome.
Cool.
So, you mentioned, collaboration with other people. And then I do believe that Panic Room is going to be part of an album, correct?
Yes.
In the works. So will there be collaborations on that, or is that going to be a solo you entire album?
It is solo me entire album. However, this album is produced with Walter Lacus of Stabbing Westward. So here is that collaboration right there. And it's just amazing. I mean, I'm so happy.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but you mentioned Walter, and I was actually, this kind of goes along with it. I was going to ask how much he is involved in like the songwriting process or in, floating ideas, or is it all your music and he's just kind of, helps with production arrangement and that kind of thing. But so
Yeah.
all of that goes with this.
Yeah, so it is my music and my lyrics, and he kindly says that they are good enough to work with. So he definitely helps with production. He enhances my sounds, elevates the whole thing, does some switches. So like, I do electronic drums. He will throw in some other drums here and there, which just make it better. And just, then he mixes the whole album as well. So having this kind of ear and this kind of talent is just priceless. Plus, he's just the kindest, the sweetest person to work with. We have a tracking session tomorrow, so we are still tracking. He actually tracks with me, and then I do edits on my own vocals after we
Okay.
track. So, it's just easier because he comps it right away. Less work for me to edit and like do all the work on how I want the vocal to sound. But we have tracking sessions this week, and I can't wait already. So cool. It's just fun, It's cooler than when I do it on my own, especially that running from the microphone to computer back and forth, just to switch into like, do this for the whole song is so exhausting, honestly, that having someone like that, in addition to being cool and amazing, but also helping me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And how did you guys get on each other's radars? Was it just from like, I know, I'm assuming him, it's credited to Stabbing Westward, but I'm gonna guess it was probably Walter remixed one of your songs.
Yeah.
Is that how you guys kind of lined up?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly, yes.
And
So
was that you pursuing him or vice versa, or how did
believe
that
it or
go?
not, he was the one that offered.
Awesome. That's
So
amazing.
it was like, for me, I was like, is this real? I think I cried at that time. But yes, we talked, so I actually reached out to him because I was invited to tour with Stabbing Westward.
Mhm.
Uh, it was in 2020. And then, so of course, I was like, oh my God,
What happened?
my whole world is just amazing. And then pandemic happened. So the tours never happened. And I'm just like, right there, it's right there. And boom,
Yeah.
and nothing. And being locked, locked down. Yeah. So actually, I talked to Walter about this. I reached out asking him. I never talked to him before. And it was first time I ever allowed myself to, just talk to him. And I was just asking if, they are planning to tour after the pandemic and if this would still be a thing or not. And instead of having this conversation, because the touring world, live music world was very uncertain at the time, he told me that he loves my new record, which I wrote during the pandemic. It was Out of Order record that came out early 2021. And then he was interested in remixing one of the songs. So I'm like, oh, please. So I asked which one, and he chose that song. And then I got this absolutely mind-blowing remix. And I just knew that, that right there, that this could be something awesome if we ever got to work together on more than that. And here we are. I wrote my demos. I did demos through last winter. And then Walter came to my studio in March 2023. So this winter. And we started slowly working on the stuff. We are both very busy, so this was taking time. But at this point, we just finalizing a couple more songs, and boom.
So I'm guessing based on that, for you, COVID became a creative, productive period for you.
Oh, very much so. I mean, it's almost like I had no choice because there was so much uncertainty. I remember just feeling fear, when the pandemic started. Like, what's going to happen with all the animals was my greatest fear because of my dog, and like watching all these other movies about Chernobyl and all the other disaster movies when they were just seizing animals. This was like my greatest thing. I'm like, right there, I'm gonna die if my dog has to die. But then it never happened. But then there were other concerns, money, jobs, food, this kind of like, how do you survive in the time when you cannot do your job?
Right.
So I figured, well, instead of worrying, I'm going to write a record about how I worry. And so this was Out of Order. I was basically totally out of order during the time. That record saved me. Writing this, making this, bringing it to life, saved me through the pandemic because otherwise I think I would go crazy. Not that I'm not crazy, but I would definitely more crazy.
I don't think you're crazy.
Gosh.
Let's talk a little bit about Panic Room, kind of leading into to new music and creation. How did that come about?
What do you mean,
That
like the release or the
all-
song itself?
Is that all you? Did you get good input on that? Or what inspired it?
What inspired this is mental health.
Mhm.
Like a lot of my other songs, I wrote it about one of the times when I got panic attack.
Mhm.
And I just felt like this, I don't know if you've ever had panic attack, I don't get them often, but when they happen, it's just like this whole force takes over you, and you are no longer yourself.
Mhm.
And so I had to write a song about it right there, and I did. And I sort of put it in a form where it's like another person, like
Mhm.
she, which is me,
That's
you know.
yeah.
But
I was gonna ask if the she was you.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It is. And so, give me your hand, she says. Give me your heart, she says. Give me your pain. Give me your pain. Give your pain. She takes it all until I have nothing left again. And that's literally how I feel during the panic attack, which, again, I don't have them often. But this is exactly the feeling. Like you have nothing, not even the pain anymore. You are just like this soulless creature for the moment of when the panic attack lasts, and it's almost like you're dead. That's why I'm feeling closer to death. Panic
Yeah.
room. Panic room as the very
Mhm.
tight space, very confined, like you cannot escape.
Yeah. I think there's an element to the writing of that is so cool, that she could be alcoholism, it
Oh,
could be drug abuse. And I love one of the lines about, you come to me when I'm strong or whatever. Like, even an addiction for a strong person can take them. So I felt like anybody who's struggling could get this song and feel an emotional connection to it.
yeah. And that's sort of what I want. I never really fully want to disclose my own interpretation,
Mhm.
not to take away from everybody else to
Mhm.
interpret it their own way. Because if you think about it, all this mental health stuff comes from what you just said. So we all struggle with things, emotional, every day. So for someone, it might be the bottle. For somebody else, could be insomnia. For somebody else, it could be, million different things every day. And we go through this, right? But we are all the same. We are in the same boat with this kind of feelings.
I think really like the best lyrics are usually left open to interpretation at least a little bit like that. Mean it can mean different things for different people, and they can all feel it and take it in and make it their own, and apply it to their life. That's whether that writing is intentional or not. I think the best songs kind of work that way.
That's awesome. Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah. And then the video comes, is it the 9th?
Yes. So we have tomorrow is Tuesday, then we have Wednesday, and then Thursday. The
Yep.
video comes out on the 9th.
I think you're excited about the video.
I'm so excited. This
Why are
was,
you excited? Tell us about it.
oh, first of all, I always love visual art. So for me, like cinematic, works, and then kind of like giving the song a visual representation is very powerful. It's my favorite thing.
Your stage show, I mean, the lighting, the screen behind you, it's I mean, your animated performance, what you just said makes perfect sense.
Yes, and then my videos on YouTube, right? I, as you probably know, for my recent release, for my last release, not recent, not the acoustic release, but the EP, Out of Order EP, I did music video for every single song on that
Mhm.
EP. It was official music video for each of them, and it comes from exactly that love to cinema and to the visual arts. So that's partially why I'm very excited about releasing this video, but also the process of making this video, the team that I am now involved with for my official music videos is absolutely excellent. There's like team of badasses. Alex Jarek, Brian Olivo, TJ, uh, and then Joel Lopez, who's been working with me since my start on my visual stuff. He also is part of that team now. So these guys created cage. They built the cage for that music video. They created gigantic moving walls. So the process of the video and its creation was just like insanely, 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 crazy.
Mhm.
I think watching your videos, they're all different but similar in certain ways. I mean, obviously they all look different, but I like how you put together like these cinematic uh, pieces and kind of intermingle that almost with your stage show. Like there's footage of you playing, and it's very reminiscent of your stage setup, but that's interspersed with the cinematic stuff. I'm blanking on the name of the song, and I'm so sorry, but the one that you're in the snow.
That's
Vast
beautiful.
places.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, that is so cool. And like the wire work and all of that. I mean, it looks like wire work, but it looks like there might even be a little bit of green screen in there somewhere. But
Yeah, there is.
yeah, so your videos are very creative, and it looks like, I don't know, it's hard to say, knowing just a little bit about production. Like they don't look like they're terribly expensive, but they look amazing and professional.
And
So
it's
well
all
done.
budget, down on the budget. So it's
Yeah.
looking, definitely each of those videos looks more expensive than it costed, which is
Yeah.
part of creative efforts, So like, I like challenging my team always, and like, let's try to find the way. How can we make this happen, this vision? And then sometimes we have to tweak the vision, but sometimes we don't. And sometimes we just succeed, creating something that is just a little workaround, without having all the millions of dollars that big artists do.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said about lighting and camera work. So
Oh, yeah.
And cool props and glasses that probably aren't too easily seen through. Some of the ones in the videos are really cool.
Oh, yes.
Masks and
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so for this music video, Panic Room, excellent lights, and camera work. Just Alex Jarek has like this tremendous skills to do things that I have not had before on my music videos. So you will get to see very zoomed in, elements of performance and of other stuff. It's I can't wait. I just can't wait for everyone to see it.
well, it's a beautiful video. So, and thank you for sharing it with us early. So
well, I'm not going to tell you anything about it right now because I'm going to write a review on it and release it Friday. So then you'll find out. So prepare yourself. It'll be on wanderingsandwoolgathering.com.
That's so cool.
So
while we're on the topic of production and seeing live clips of you, can we talk for a minute about your stage costumes and like where do those come from? Is that all you? Do you have someone you work with to put those together? Because I mean, every clip that I have seen of you live, that your different costumes are just outstanding. Very cool.
I'm a fashion freak.
Okay.
I'm a makeup freak too, but I am literally a fashion freak. So I like putting my outfits together by myself. I buy different things at different places, and then I assemble those outfits. As sometimes it wouldn't even make sense to put two things together, but that's part of it. I like to challenge myself. I like to challenge my audience and wear weird things, that shouldn't work together, but somehow they do.
I think, I mean, you say that these things don't go together and they look strange or whatever, but honestly, I think with the kind of music you do, like you're definitely a part of, I would say you have like kind of an industrial sound, and really like that kind of stuff is not unheard of in that scene. I mean, they can get a little extreme with looks and visuals and stuff. So I mean, it works.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it does, and again, I've been told by multiple people that I am sort of like a bundle of contradictions as a person. So it only makes sense that it reflects in my fashion choices. And, and this too, I mean, right? Peace and anarchy. So,
That's true.
not be together, but somehow here we go.
You're like a Reese cup. There's two great tastes that taste great together.
Don't get me started on that.
Oh no.
Hello, season. I'm so happy I still have some candies left, but my
So,
body's not so happy about it.
speaking of your makeup and stuff, don't you have a line of lipstick?
I do.
Yeah.
I do have a line of lipstick. These are really good lipsticks. I'm so proud of those. They are compared to Jeffree Star's lipsticks, who is one of my favorite makeup designers. Quality-wise, a lot of people compare them, and they say they are alike. The lipsticks are Dev's Kiss lipstick. They are after one of my songs from Out of Order EP, Dev's Kiss song. And so, yeah, I figured I should make a lipstick line called Dev's Kiss and have this kind of like a line, kill them with a smile.
Now, who did you partner with for that?
Well, I actually have a person who, it's not like a partnership, official partnership. I have a person, a chemist, who designs the lipstick for me. And
my
then
gosh.
I do packaging. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Wow.
Yes,
And because I have a 23-year-old daughter, I knew who Jeffree Star was.
That's it. I mean, so I just released the new color called Chroma, and it's one of my favorites. It's going to be featured a lot next year as I keep releasing new songs. One of them will have a lot of that lipstick on. It's just mind-blowingly amazing lipstick because it's like silver, but it's
Yes.
matte, but it's silver, and
Yeah.
it stays on your lips, and it's just so smooth. And I love it. But each of the lipsticks are, the most popular is probably Blackout Black in the goth community. But then the Blood Red is pretty popping. I have it on me right now.
Yeah, the chromas, it's very dramatic. It is very dramatic, very cool looking. My wife is an esthetician, so I have also heard the name Jeffree Star before.
Oh, here we go. Great.
Yeah, so but that's very I enjoy the fact, I mean, just looking at your website, I like when I first saw that, I was like, oh, I mean, of course, like, why wouldn't you? I like that you can diversify like that and kind of engage multiple interests and, find a way to, I don't monetize sounds like such a dirty word, but you know what I mean? Like you are able to use your talents to support yourself.
It's funny because, if you think of musicianship in terms of monetization, it doesn't really translate these days. It's unless you are a big celebrity on the top level, then it's almost like music is just a vehicle for promotion. And I just talked to one of my road crew guys, Danesh, today, and we all decided that what probably I am selling is just my personality and my lifestyle, just who I am, and just sharing it with people. And lipstick is just one of those things, but I want to do so much more. Anything I can do, more makeup, but also more stuff, more fashion, and besides more music, of course.
It's crazy that you say that. I think it was a week ago, Corey Taylor came out and said that you would assume that they're all just mega millionaires, and he said, really, they're just upper middle class because you don't make what you think you make in music anymore, which it went from the days of the music companies robbing the artist, but they still got very rich, to now struggling to make it. Wonderful people making great music, struggling. And I wish it weren't that way.
Yeah, it is. It's funny. Someone once told me that for the longest time of their life, they thought that art and the music is a luxury. And then they changed their mind and they now say it is necessity. And I love this quote, and I keep reminding myself this every time I feel panic room, what am I doing with my life? Panic room. But then it hits me, this quote, it comes back to me, and I'm like, I am going to keep going, because it is necessity. It's very important.
It is absolutely necessary for me, and it has been in my life. I mean, I've been a music fan since I was very young. I grew up listening to certain things with my dad, and I started finding my own music, and gravitated towards heavy music and industrial stuff. And it's I don't know where I would be without music. And I was talking to someone just the other day, and they were like, "Oh, I don't hardly ever listen to music, and I've only been to a few concerts in my life." And I'm like, "Oh, I could not live like that." Like, it's like music is everything. It's just it can lift you up and take you wherever you need to go, and
Exactly.
help you remember things through your life, and it's everything.
It's just
Yeah.
enhancement, such enhancement without which I think everything would be just bleak in life.
Well, I always think when people talk about removing the arts from education, I
Yeah.
think when you come home from work, what do? You read a book, you watch TV, you listen to music. All of those things are some form of art.
Yeah.
The things that give our lives joy outside of family and friends are artistic things.
Yeah.
And when people talk about shutting that down, I will tell you, as long as I'm in charge at our school, that will never happen. We actually gave an entire building to our band and art.
That is
So
awesome.
they're
Yes.
well, my wife is the artist, so she would kill me if I didn't, but I would do it anyway.
It pains me to hear that it's happening. I swear that when I was at school, my favorite things were art class and music
Mhm.
class. These were the things I was waiting, looking forward to. This was everything. So now, thinking from children's perspective, now not having that, it's just how do you
Yeah.
like process all these things inside, right? The arts always help you.
Mhm. It gives them a community as well. Of
Yeah.
people just like them who now they have a place where they can go and feel at home and welcomed and loved.
Mhm.
So it's a great group of
Pressure
kids.
too. So like exactly like who am I, and then ability to express that. So I'm this and that through this without I guess judgment, right? In like safe environment, everybody's doing the same project. So
Mhm.
important, like this feeling of inclusion and acceptance. Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, they say comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And so we
Yeah.
just got to be ourselves and be happy with who we are and what we do.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
very
love
cool.
by the way. It's such a good quote. It's funny because Dan Milligan, who's the founder of the Joy Thieves, he
Mhm.
told me that one time. And I'm just like, okay, you're right.
And that's why Facebook and Instagram and all these things make people feel so bad about their own lives as they start to compare to the fake life
Yeah.
that somebody shows them on social media. And you don't know what that person's life is really like. And then you compare it to them and you're like, man, I'm worthless. I don't have what they have. And
Yeah.
that is a terrible thing that has happened,
Mhm.
through social media.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I mean, most people want you to see, they only want you to see the best things. So that's all they put out there. And to the extent where if you see someone on social media actually kind of being real and being vulnerable, and you almost think, oh, what's wrong with them? Something's wrong with them. Oh, that's, ooh, I don't want to be like that. So you can't be real,
Weird.
almost.
Like this video for TikTok, just talking about Panic Room song and just asking people to please click the link.
Mhm.
And I was as vulnerable as real as it gets, literally.
Mhm.
Hey, and some comments under that were just like weirdo.
Yeah.
So you
Really?
hey, I am.
If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. Just move
You
on.
know,
I hate that.
I don't believe in, and I feel like it comes being vulnerable comes with that. Like
Mhm.
it's almost like taking the risk. It's like what you
Mhm.
said, but as an artist, I don't imagine being any other way, even in public light.
Mhm.
The artists are vulnerable. We are very sensitive people. But
Mhm.
to go out there and pretend that I'm not would deny the whole purpose of me doing art.
Mhm. Yeah.
I saw something the other day. We were speaking about our friend Michael Ciravolo earlier, and he posted something that I thought was pretty profound. Um, it said something along the lines of, being an artist is hard because you have to simultaneously not care what anyone thinks and care what everyone thinks.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to find that balance and deal with that.
Yeah, it is weird. It's like, everything I write personally comes from here. Every lyric, every sound, it's very personal because that's where I have all this. So I'm sharing this. And then when you release a song, then there's this feeling. It's almost like I need to educate myself not to take things too seriously, because otherwise, it's me there in that song. So then someone who doesn't like the song or criticize it, I cannot ever allow myself to, think that this is me. This is me being criticized. I don't know. What am I doing to my hair? I think I'm nervous and vulnerable.
That's perfect. Looks great.
Yeah, but you know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah, of course.
I agree with that quote. I agree exactly with what he said because it's true. It's this balance. It's weird balance between not caring at all and caring too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, nobody wants to be trashed publicly. I mean, I don't care who you are. You can have a thick skin, but at some level it hurts a little, especially if they attack character or something more personal about you than just, that song's not for me. And people today don't tend to go that route.
Yeah, because of course, like everybody has different tastes. I would never expect every person in the world to love what I do because it's very specific. It's not for everyone, and I know this. Like, I wouldn't want it to be for everyone because then I would be mainstream, and that would be a problem.
We don't want you to be mainstream.
I say all the time, in lots of different situations, anytime anyone's talking about music or we are big, Steve and I are big comic book fans, art or comics writing that they don't like, stories they don't like, this, and I'm like, it's art. All art is so subjective. It's not for everyone. If you like it, great. If you don't, there's more out there. Like, just change the channel, turn the page, listen to something else. There's something out there for you. If one thing is not for you, who cares? Just walk away from it and enjoy something else. There's so much out there. Just find what you like.
And I agree with this as well. Exactly. No one needs to hear that opinion,
We have an opinion coming on the screen right now.
I mean, that is my energy with Bob Dylan. If I don't like it, I turn it off and find something else.
That Anya would be my daughter posting.
Yeah.
And she is absolutely in love with Bob Dylan, and she knows every song, and she will fight with anyone who doesn't agree with her that he is the greatest ever.
Yeah, she likes to troll me because I don't care for his voice. He is an amazing songwriter, but I don't care for his voice. And yeah, so her and I fight about that all the time.
But this is here's the thing. Exactly. It's for some people, not for everybody. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it works.
No, not for her. It's for everybody. And you must like it. Well, let's circle back around a little bit because we have been talking about feelings and hurt and all of that. And you have a great story and a great cause. And I think people would want to get behind it. So I'd love you to tell that a little bit, as much as you want to talk about.
Oh, yeah. So I have always been all about suicide prevention and mental health. And my story is pretty straightforward, dark. I've lost my mom to suicide. And ever since then, it's been just very, very, very weird, process of kind of recovery and understanding and digging deeper to find what I can do to sort of honor her death and also to help everybody else who's alive. And so I started. I have one. I wear one always, almost always, but I have those bracelets. They are like crisis line bracelets for mental health and suicide prevention. I don't know if this shows how it is or it shows the mirror side view. I don't know.
No,
But
I'll
then
it's
post it
correct.
again. I posted it on Facebook, and
Yeah.
I'll post it on Twitter when we're done too. So
basically, I give these away uh, every year around this time. I mean, it's going to mark the second year now because I started doing this last year. Before that, I was donating 15% of all my album sales to American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, which is still going on, with my physical releases that are out there. However, I started this. This is self-funded project, but not just because some people actually donated. Last year, I received this crazy donation of $400, so it allowed me to make lots more of those bracelets. Um, but yeah, basically, I'm sending these to anyone who's interested in, our country for free, postage covered. Just reach out to me. I think instructions will be given, right? How you can reach out. You can send me basically, and I will send to you this bracelet.
yes,
Yes,
I'll put the links with this.
yeah, and it's already on the Wanderings and Wool Gathering Facebook page. That the information is already there. So if anyone's watching this, go to Facebook, Wanderings and Wool Gathering, find the post that has the picture of those bracelets, and it will tell you how to get one if you want one.
Yes, I feel like holiday season is so tricky because, and
Yeah.
that comes again from my own experience, because first Christmas without my mom was just a terrible experience. It was so hard, and I wasn't sure how to deal. I was just hiding under covers, didn't go anywhere, was alone, and it was just sad time.
Mhm.
And I figured that every year a lot of people feel the same. So
Yeah.
this is sort of like a reminder that you are not alone. We are not alone, and also wearing this is sort of cool. It literally started a lot of conversations in my life, and I've had situations where people told me that it helped them just to see this on the wrist. So I encourage people to wear it because I mean, you never know who sees it, right?
Yeah. And I told you, I don't want to say who it is on the air, but there's someone in my family who has expressed suicidal ideation, and thankfully they've never acted on that. But that struggle, you never know
Yeah,
where you're going to come into contact with that. You never know who is going to struggle with that. So this is absolutely wonderful, and I will definitely, probably be trying to obtain a few of those to give out.
just give me the address.
Mhm.
They are coming.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's simply asking, and she sends them, so there's no reason you should not do it. But there is also a PayPal link if you would like to help her cause and send her some money so that she
Yep.
can keep this going. She's not profiting from it in any way. It's simply a genuine philanthropic effort to bring awareness to suicide, and in today's world, we need it. Last week at school, we had a speaker in about suicide prevention who had one of his younglings under his watch commit suicide. And so he shared that with our student body, and it was very quiet. And it's usually not at convocations for students. So they took it very seriously.
Yeah, that's so sad.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
really is.
it's hard, it's hard. Modern world is not easy, and life is not easy, definitely. It was never promised to be easy, but I feel like it's pretty hard right now for
Mhm.
everybody, no matter who you are. And yeah, so this kind of even conversation, I feel like it's so important because it brings awareness. It stops the shame and stops the stigma that we still have. It's still out there that you are not supposed to talk about that you feel darkness or that you not feel well. It's still, how are you? I'm okay. What if
Yeah.
you're not okay? I say if I don't feel okay, I reply, I'm actually not that. People look at me like,
It's, I
Yeah.
mean, I've always stressed that with my kids, you know, like if there's anything going on, talk to someone. I mean, it's nothing that is going on in your life is worth your life ending.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you ever have any kind of problem, please talk to someone, whether it's me or their mom or not, someone, you
Or
know. Yes, absolutely.
Or make a phone
I
call.
I remember when I heard, you know, me growing up, I remember there was always like the suicide prevention hotline is 1-800 blah 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 blah. Like who can remember that? And especially if you're in crisis and you're maybe not thinking clearly, who's going to remember that number? Who's going to stop and think to look at that number? When
nobody.
they switched to this 988, I'm like, that's beautiful. That's amazing. I mean, you know, that's super easy to remember.
Yeah.
And if it's promoted enough, I think enough people will have that in the back of their mind. We're like, oh, you know, something's going on here. I don't feel well. I'm, you know, 988 and talk it out, figure it out. I
Yeah.
think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
And your first step is to go to iyatoyah.com, join the cult,
Yes.
so to speak. And then you can email her and she will definitely get it. It won't go to spam and you can request
Yeah.
that bracelet. So,
So please
again, we'll post that for you.
and reach out, and I'm sending those. I mean, the holiday drive, as I call it now, I guess,
Mhm.
is officially started with today. So, yeah.
Isn't that crazy? The holiday joyful season really
Mm-hmm.
becomes the opposite for so many.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly. It's like, yeah, baffling,
Wow.
but that's why we have to talk about things and spread it and, like, just kind of make it more normal. Yeah.
Yeah, I will tell you, it's kind of heartening with youth. They are embracing it a little bit more and they are coming forward asking for help more. We have a behavior specialist at school who they love because he's amazing and they will go to him. And so it is getting better.
That's
So
awesome.
all of your efforts and everybody like you who pushes for this, it's making a difference.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, you're awesome for doing it. So there.
Thank you.
You're just busy and you're still doing it. That's what's most impressive. And you're doing it on your own dime. That's incredible. That is a very giving person.
It's important. To me, it's everything, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is fantastic. I only really have one other question for you. And then if Mundy does, then, we'll keep going. But so The Cure, we love The Cure. And that, Disintegration is one of my wife and I's favorite record. We just finally got our bucket list. We got to see him live finally. And then I saw that you did a cover of Love Song. And I'll be honest, I looked at the screen and I thought, oh my gosh, if I hate her cover and then I have to talk to her tomorrow, this is going to be something. I don't know if I should watch this. And so then I did. And it was excellent. You changed it up a lot in a very cool way. I love the piano. It was really good, and I'm so glad it was because I just went ahead and went for it, and I wouldn't have brought it up otherwise. But I loved it. It was a great version.
Thank you so much. It was like a
Mhm.
spur of the moment, honestly, for Valentine's Day. Again, kind of like darker thing for Valentine's Day.
Mhm.
To just show people, not everyone is like falling for this hallmark, capitalistic
Mhm.
situation. Some people actually feel dark
Yeah.
During this holiday. Yeah. So I felt like to twist that song,
Mhm.
get a little darker and like sadder, would be what I wanted to do. And here we go.
Yeah, I love the piano. That was so good.
Piano is not me. Piano is Joel Lopez,
Mhm.
who is my friend, my
Mm.
road crew, and also my video person. He creates most of my behind the live, performance visuals with me. Yeah, so he's also multi-talented, person, and he recorded his piano. As a little teaser, I can say that I just talked to him today, and we're
Mhm.
gonna do something again together. I want to invite him to do
Did
something
he do
with me.
Did he do the piano in Pray, the acoustic version?
No, no. No, he
Okay.
was not on this one, but he's going to do something else. I'm not going to reveal yet, but yeah,
Okay.
early next year.
Awesome.
So, speaking of covers, I am a sucker for a great cover song. I absolutely love them. Some people don't. I do. I love a straight cover. I love when someone like you, the ones you seem to do, you take them and kind of twist them and make them your own. I absolutely love that too. When I saw you live, you started playing the song and you started like the song didn't really register with me, the music, and then you started singing and I was like, wait a minute, I know those lyrics. And it was, it's Depeche Mode, it's no good. And I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, how do you choose the covers you want to do?
Oh, this song was just my all-time favorite forever. So I wanted to cover that song because it's just the song that I love. Same with Love Song. And, I want to do so many more, honestly. I'm so busy that it's hard to do this while you have your own stuff. So I always choose my own first. But I definitely want to cover many more songs. And the decisions are always guided by that feeling here, which I have to love the song. I have to be very connected to the song. I've done a couple covers with the Joy Thieves, which one of them is Citizen Dad.
Yes. Very cool.
And then we did Money's Not My God. That rougher kind of like a song, followed by Pat Benatar. Love is a
Love is a
Battlefield.
Battlefield. Yep.
I love Pat Benatar.
Yes.
I love that song so much that this was so much fun to
I think quick note, Pat Benatar is highly underrated. But the Susie cover that you guys did is, oh my God, it's so good.
so much fun. I love working with Joy Thieves. They're all just amazing people. So yeah.
Well, I think what we just heard here is that we're getting an album of nothing but covers. That's what I heard. I'm writing it down. So 2024, look for it, fans.
I think for an act that is maybe, not super well known, it's really cool when you're able to work in a cover, because if people don't know your music, then suddenly you're playing the song that maybe everybody knows, and they're like, it kind of brings them in, makes them comfortable maybe. And you can kind of worm your way in there then, because they're like, oh well, I like this song, and it's like, well, I'll listen to the rest of this, something like that. But I think it's a good tool, whether it's kind of gross to think of it like that, but it is kind of a good tool for a band that is up and coming or something like that. They're like, oh, everybody likes this song, let's play that, and we'll get them with that.
Definitely.
Kind of cool.
A lot of people basically gain huge fame on YouTube doing cover work. It's amazing. Yeah.
For sure.
I love cover songs. So
I love good cover songs.
Yes, of course.
there could be, and that again, that's subjective, but if I say it, it's right. So we'll just stick with that. Mr. Mundy, did you have anything else for her? She's been so gracious to give us an hour this evening.
I don't think so. I think we covered a lot, and we
lost lighting. We lost lighting.
My light just died, literally.
I think that's giving us a hint. Huh?
Yeah, that's our cue.
We connected this to like the source. It should. No,
well, we can still see. Now your hair looks orange. That's all. Amazing. Is there anything that you want to leave us with tonight? Anything that we missed that we need to know?
Definitely, I don't want to leave no one with darkness, but I guess this happened anyways. Well, I guess I am very grateful for everyone who tuned in tonight and who listens to this, who watches this. And please come to my website, check my stuff out, check my new release out. The video is coming on Thursday. but I have a lot more things coming next year. It's gonna be a lot of new stuff. So yeah, stick around, please join me. And yeah.
Well,
One
I
other
have
thing though,
been. Oh,
go ahead,
ahead.
Monty.
Well,
No,
I
I
was
was
just
just going
going
to
to
ask
say,
about your website. Sorry, I just did that again. But you just talked about come to my website. I've got that on
Yes.
the screen. But are you? Is it just I Ya Toyah on Instagram?
Oh yeah.
Wherever else that you are?
Yeah, everywhere is just I Ya Toyah.
Okay.
And my website is ayatoyah.com. So yes,
Okay.
please connect with
Sorry,
me.
Monday.
Oh
Go
yeah.
ahead.
so I was just going to say that we are moving into the season in America for Thanksgiving, and I am very thankful for Stabbing Westward for bringing you along on their tour, so that now I have a new artist that I enjoy, and we reached out and made this connection. So hopefully we can do that again in the future when you have some new material coming out, or and you are welcome anytime. We will probably reach out before you do. But yeah, we've met so many great people doing this podcast that we've become friends with that we've never really met in person. So it's so cool. And thank you for, now putting your name on that list and joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. You guys are just absolutely wonderful. So it will be an honor to be back to chat with you again and hopefully to meet you in person on the road.
Chicago's not that far away.
Yeah, I'm up there all the time, so
So
we can do that. So we'll just have to find out where you're performing next, and or maybe I'll come up there and get some vocal lessons because I have quite the voice.
So my schedule for next year, this year I don't perform anymore. I basically take a break, take a big breather for the holidays and just like rest up. It's been a very busy year when it comes
good
to
for
live
you.
shows. I've been on the road a lot, but next year I have things shaping up. They are not announced yet, so I cannot reveal, but soon.
Well, we'll be watching that for sure.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Everybody, head over to ayatoyah.com and join the cult. Get yourself one of those crisis hotline bracelets. You'll be thrilled that you do. Mr. Mundy, where can we find you?
Just easiest place is on Instagram. It's just my handle on the show at Metalhead Mundy, MUNDY. Come see pictures of my cat, and when I go to live shows and see people like I Ya Toyah.
Excellent. And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Foggy's Pal. That's the name. And you can find Wanderings and Wool Gathering on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, Castbox, and SoundCloud. And you can find album, movie, TV, and comics reviews and a review of one Panic Room video on Thursday at wanderingsandwoolgathering.com. We will see you next week with episode 163. Thank you again, Anya, for coming on the show tonight. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And we are going to have the show leave tonight with work of one of our friends, former podcaster with us, Mr. JPP. I hope you enjoy this, Anya.
Oh, I